I have one more story that I want to cover, and that's out in Oregon. So again, we're looking at who won on Election Day, right? What were the big winners on Election Day? Right now, it's not all that clear, but there was one big winner on Election Day. And that was the end, to my mind, the end of the war on drugs. So I think the American people had a big victory on Election Day, and it had nothing to do with the candidates. It had to do with what unfolded out in Oregon. And the people there decided to say, you know what? We're done with this war on drugs. And thanks to Oregon voters, Oregon is the first state in the country to now decriminalize the personal possession of all drugs, including heroin and cocaine. Oregonians passed a ballot measure 110, also known as the Drug Decriminalization and Addiction Treatment Initiative, with 59% of the vote. Now, there was other legalization that unfolded across the country, the legalization of recreational marijuana in New Jersey, in Arizona, in Montana, in South Dakota. Every one of these victories has had a long overdue challenge to this old drug criminalization system, where you can be locked up. Hey, crime bill, 1994, Joe Biden, where you can be locked up for the rest of your life for having a little bit of crack cocaine that's found on you. But if it was just the white powder, like what white people used, you'd only have to deal like a year in prison. But if it's the crack cocaine, then we're going to throw the book at you, drowning our entire criminal justice systems in all of these drug-related cases. So guess what? Now in Oregon, this is how we start to reform policy. I think we could see a dramatic shift across the country. And this, to me, was the first. Oregon, congratulations. This was the first big move in this. I've witnessed it. I've watched it and studied what Portugal has done. In 2001, the country of Portugal became the very first country, not a state, the very first country to decriminalize drugs. And instead of treating it like a crime, treating it as an addiction and treating the symptoms of that, getting people help that they need in different clinics and so forth. What that it did, so that's why it's been such a success. We've had 20 years now to study that country and how they decriminalized drugs. And what we found is, remarkably, that it took all of that pain out of the criminal justice system, all of that money that went to just fighting those types of cases, and was able to put that money towards actual crimes, not people just being found with a bag of marijuana in their back pocket and going to prison, tying up the court system, recreational marijuana, etc. So instead, it entails the removal of criminal penalties for the possession of small amounts of illegal substances. After February 1st, the drug penalty for possession will be akin to a hefty traffic ticket, $100 fine. Those who cannot or do not want to pay can choose to agree to a health assessment at an addiction recovery center. So what happened is all of these states' attorneys general flew to Portugal over the past few years. They've been going into Lisbon. They've been meeting with the government here to see how they did it. Why has it been so effective? Other countries in Europe are starting to follow that same rule and that same law to see how they can decriminalize drugs and actually get it out of the criminal justice system and into the treatment centers where it needs to be. So you had New Jersey, you had other states' attorneys generals flying to Europe, meeting and understanding how did you do it? How has it been such a success? The crime rate, realize now, Portugal is the third safest country in the world, according to the UNESCO. Is it the UNESCO numbers? Yeah, the UNESCO numbers. The United States, 128 on the list. Portugal's the third safest country in the world behind Iceland and New Zealand. They're right next to Spain, which still has to deal with these problems. But Portugal doesn't. So we can learn a lot from this. And congratulations to Oregon for decriminalizing this. It's not the legalization of drugs. You still get a fine if you're caught with that stuff. But then you can choose again to go to a clinic and get help, but not get thrown away in prison for the rest of your life, which is what's been, has decimated the African-American community in the United States. So Measure 110, baby. Reduce convictions for drug possession by nearly 90%. So you're going to see the number of drug convictions go plummet in the state of Oregon, and you're going to see their criminal justice system be able to go after violent criminals spend more time adjudicating those types of cases. So good on you, Oregon. There was a big glimmer of hope in this week's election. And so I wanted to bring that to you because I think that that's very, very important. So congrats, Oregon. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Drop me a comment below. I will read all of them. Go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.